everyone for being here, and a complete pleasure interacting with each and every one of you. As Madhu introduced, my name is Nusrat and I head CSR based in Mumbai. I do have a regional team that looks at CSR for the state, sitting here, right from the zonal head to down to the regional head and the project managers who actually manage these projects. So the idea today is to take you through what we've been doing in CSR over the last 10 years that the bank has been doing CSR since inception, and then dive down into particular in terms of the state. So while of course we have the bank and all of us know in terms of its progress, in terms of the numbers, in terms of its growth, but here's an opportunity to understand a little bit of the, rather an opportunity for us to try and communicate the human side, the human story of HDFC Bank. So we start with Parivartan. Parivartan is the brand under which the bank operates all its social initiatives, namely its CSR initiatives. I have a short presentation. I'll just use that as an indicative while I continue more in terms of talking about what we've been doing. At any point of time, if you want to interject, you can do that, and otherwise, at the end of it, we'll have a short Q&A. So, what is it that HDFC Bank intends to do under Parivartan? We largely work in three areas. Our vision, of course, is enabling economic and socially empowered communities and creating a sustainable ecosystem. The words here to sort of ponder upon our social, environmental, economic. These are the three areas that we work in to bring about change through two programs. We have a program called the Holistic Rural Development Program, that's the HRDP, and a Focused Development Program. Very simply, HRDP is a project that is multifaceted and it tries to address multiple issues in a closed geography. The FDP, on the other hand, is a project that typically looks at any one area that we are working, whether it's education or skilling. These are the areas that we work in. Education, we work on skilling and livelihoods. We worked on health and sanitation, health and hygiene. Rural development, financial literacy and inclusion, and natural resource management. The sixth is something that we've very recently initiated, but otherwise the five are something that has been existing since inception. Within that, we have for ourselves goals, because these are very broad areas. So while we are actually drawing out the program, within these areas, we have goals very specifically that are articulated as part of our charter, and these are board approved goals under which we work. This is a glimpse of the goals. I'm sure we will be sharing this with you, so you will have these details. But we have about 7 goals that we work in, and most of our projects address these goals. So, like, we have a target of achieving income enhancement of about 5 lakh farmers. We are looking at bringing about 1 lakh acres under chemical free farming. But again, I must say that these are all national level goals and not state level goals. The state does contribute partly to achieving these goals. It's been 10 years. 10 years since CSR rules, 10 years since Parivartan in HDFC Bank, and we've come a long way. We take pride in the fact that we are one of the top CSR spenders in the country today. And over the last 10 years, we've spent close to about 5,000 crores, 5,108 crores to be precise, in CSR. And this, when I'm talking, is not just again in the state, at a national level, covering about 28 states and 8 union territories. So pretty much, other than maybe a handful, not even a handful, a couple of areas we've not been able to reach, or which we are aspirationally wanting to reach out to, we are pretty much there all over. These are some of the numbers that we've achieved over the years. So over the 10 years that we've been there, through the investments that we've made in CSR, within the areas that we work in terms of the focus areas, these are our achievement. We've worked with teachers where we've trained about close to 20 lakh teachers. We've impacted about 2 crore, and I'm looking at direct as well as extended beneficiaries here. I'm looking at students impacted being over about 2 crores here. Community libraries that we may have built about 900 plus. We worked a lot on creating smart schools and infrastructure. We've reached out to close to about 9,270 villages pan-India. Again, these are all numbers. We'll get into the depth of what we've been doing in each of these villages and how we've been changing lives. We come to West Bengal. So while of course Parivartan has been in existence since the last 10 years, we've been working across the country. It was 2019 that we first started our forays into working in West Bengal. We started working in the area of education, where we worked with students in taking on scholarships for students. So that's how we started, found our partners here, and today we are happy to say that we've got more than about 10 active projects in the state working on multiple issues, on rural development, on income enhancement, on skilling, and on water and soil conservation. Where is it that we are present in West Bengal? Which are the areas that we are working in? We're working in close to 11 districts. As you can see, they are listed out. We're working in Bankura, Purulia, South 24, Parganas, North 24, Howrah, Murshidabad, Nadia, Dakshin Dinajpur, Jhargram, Bardhaman, and Birbhum. The map shows our presence. Other than the extreme north, I think our presence is felt across the state. Some of these must mention are extremely challenging geographies for us to not just implement a program but also to monitor the program. However, increasingly our footprints in the state have increased. Our partners, you can see on the right hand side, uh, renowned and established partners in the social sector. We're working with organizations like Pradhan, Orion, which does education skilling. We're working with Ambuja Foundation, Grant Thornton, NASCOM, Sabuj Sangh, and Teach to Lead, which is an offshoot of the Teach for India program. So all these very reputed NGOs, these are our execution partners. HDFC Bank is not a foundation. We operate through the bank. Hence, all our projects are executed through partnerships with NGOs. So these are some of the highlights of the projects that we are doing. I will talk a little about that, and then we have a short film on one of our projects which will slightly maybe give you more insights in terms of what we are talking about. And if there's any question with regards to the projects, of course I have my team here and they'll be happy to take those questions. So what is it that we are doing in all these 10 projects that we spoke about? We'll talk about the skilling, which is the simpler one. When I'm talking about skilling here, I'm talking about training and placements. I'm talking about skill-based training, livelihood training, where typically youth receive classroom training in various domains. Currently, we have 5 skilling centers in and around Kolkata where these centers operate. Youth from underprivileged backgrounds are enrolled in these centers, they are given training and they are given placements. The entire process is monitored by the bank and we ensure at least an 80% placement through these trainings. If I was to mention some of these, I've already mentioned. We've got NASCOM Foundation, who we work with. So we've got NASCOM Foundation, who we work with. We've got Orion that we work with, and we've got skilling centers with them as well. All of these trainings that we do, we have a pre-placement tie-up with industry. The students are trained and then they are placed. The skills are varied. It could be IT, it could be financial sector, it could be activities to increase the income of the farmer. Simultaneously, we're looking at infrastructure there where we're working with schools. We've done smart schools there. We've improved the health structure, the health facilities there, and we're also looking at sanitation and water conservation. Natural resource management is actually pretty connected to what we do in the rural area here in the state. I have it listed out here and I'm happy to read those out. I also have my team here and maybe for one of these, I'll have someone come and talk to you a little bit more to give the regional flavor in terms of what exactly is being done there and how this project was initiated. To give you an idea as to how the project was developed based on a need in the geography, right? So the first three projects that you see over here, the first one is the street project. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah? No. Okay. So it's largely a work program that we're working to enable women and their families towards economic empowerment. So it's a livelihood-based initiative that's happening in Bankura, Raipur, Sariga, and Indore. In the Pur. This outreaches about close to 93 villages where we are working, and it's a 3-year project. You will also notice that none of the projects, very rarely are we working in a 1-year project. These are multi-year projects. Obviously, it does take that much of time to bring about change in communities. So these are all multi-year projects that we are working. The second again is a livelihood program that we are working in Purulia, where we are reaching out to about 62 villages. We have an HRDP, just as the one you saw. There's another one that we are initiating. We've initiated, and this was the same video that you saw in the 15 villages that we mentioned. We have skill training centers, as I mentioned. We've got about multiple 3 or 5 currently that are active in and around the state. I also mentioned in terms of the nature of trades that we address, and this sort of enumerates that as well. The last one that we're talking about, 7, is something that's on increasing livelihood through enhancing irrigation systems and agriculture. This is largely in Murshidabad, in Farakka block, where the objective is to increase the availability of water through water harvesting structures. 3 I've already mentioned. Again, there's another project on irrigation which we are doing in Howrah. And Teach to Lead is a project that we are doing where we are working on fellowships for scholars who are placed in government schools to basically help teachers with their pedagogy. I would also like to invite someone from my team here about how you identified or conceptualized in that area, what you're doing, and how you monitor this project, because obviously it's done by another partner. So maybe that element of your role you can bring out, and you might want to talk in Bangla. We can check with them, but yeah, I think that would be good.
হ্যালো, শোনা যাচ্ছে? সবাই শুনতে পাচ্ছেন? ধন্যবাদ এখানে আসার জন্য। আমি এর মধ্যে থেকে পুরুলিয়া, বাঁকুড়া, সুন্দরবন 3টে জায়গারই বলছি। 3টে জায়গারই ডিফারেন্ট জিওগ্রাফিক্যাল অ্যাসপেক্টস আছে। পুরুলিয়া, বাঁকুড়া যেটা আমরা জানি যে খুবই জল কম ওই জায়গাতে। তো আমরা ওখানে সবার আগে ভেবেছিলাম যে জল কিভাবে ওখানে সেভ করা যায়, কিভাবে সংরক্ষণ করা যায়। তো ওয়াটার হারভেস্টিং স্ট্রাকচারস তৈরি করা হয়, যেটা গভর্নমেন্টের সাথে একটা স্কিম তৈরি করে। গভর্নমেন্টের একটা স্কিম আছে যেটার সাথে আমাদের সংস্থারা মিলেমিশে বসে প্ল্যান সাবমিট করা হয়। প্ল্যান সাবমিট করাটা যেটা হয় সেটা হচ্ছে আমাদের কমিউনিটি মেম্বার্সদের সাথে বসে, আমাদের দিদিরা যারা কৃষি চাষিরা যারা রয়েছেন, দিদিরা যারা রয়েছেন, দাদারা যারা রয়েছেন, তারা একসাথে বসে প্ল্যান করে যে কোন জায়গাতে যদি আমাদের জলটা বেশি পড়ে, কোন এলিভেশনে জলটা থাকলে সবার কাছে জলটা পৌঁছতে পারবে, সেই রকম একটা প্ল্যান ডেভেলপ করা হয়। ডেভেলপ করে আমাদের ব্লকে সাবমিট করা হয়, ডিস্ট্রিক্ট ডিসির কাছে অবধি যায়, তারপর স্যাংশন হয়, আর সেখানে আমাদের পুকুর তৈরি করা হয়। তো এই একটা কনসেপ্টে আমাদের পুরো বাঁকুড়া পুরুলিয়া রিজনে ওয়াটার হারভেস্টিং স্ট্রাকচার তৈরি করা হয়েছে। তার সাথে সাথে কি হয়েছে, কৃষি তো বাড়ছেই, তার সাথে সাথে মাছ চাষ এবং তার সাথে আমাদের লাইফ স্টক ফার্মিং যেটাকে বলা হয় পশু চাষ। এটার মধ্যে দিয়ে কি হচ্ছে যে মাছ দেখভাল করার জন্য মানুষ, পশু সখীরা তৈরি হচ্ছে, মৎস্য সখীরা তৈরি হচ্ছে, বাড়িতেই মাছের খাবার তৈরি করা হচ্ছে, পশুর খাবার তৈরি করা হচ্ছে, এবং কৃষি এগোনোর জন্য জৈব যত রকমের পদার্থ আছে, যেরকম নিমাস্ত্র, আগ্নেয়াস্ত্র, দ্য ফার্টিলাইজার্স অ্যান্ড দ্য pesticides are all organic, so nothing is getting আমরা বাইরে গিয়ে কেনাকাটা করি না, তো দিদিরা দাদারা ঘরে বসেই তৈরি করে এবং কমিউনিটি লেভেলে তৈরি হয়। আজোলা চাষ যেটা হয় মাছের জন্য বা আমাদের পশুর জন্য, মাছের জন্য নয়, মোস্টলি পশুর জন্য আর পাখির জন্য আজোলা চাষও করা হচ্ছে। তো there are different national and international aspects of farming getting imbibed in Parivartan. Most importantly what happens is that PBIF যেটা আমরা দেখলাম মানে বন্ড বেস ইন্টিগ্রেটেড ফার্মিং কনসেপ্টটা যেটা আমাদের সবুজ সংঘ করছে সুন্দরবনসে, PBIF is only, this is through Parivartan we have been able to establish here in Bengal. And if you see that Parivartan projects across the country is also doing the same. It is one of a kind of bond based integrated farming যে কনসেপ্টটা তৈরি হয়েছিল সেইটা এখানে ইমপ্লিমেন্ট হয়েছে। So these are the three things. If you have any questions maybe popping up in your head, you can ask. I can answer. So Purulia, Bankura, Sundarban মিলে আমি বললাম সুন্দরবনের ইউনিকনেসটা কি আছে, যেখানে পুরুলিয়া বাঁকুড়াতে জল নেই, সুন্দরবনে এত জল আছে but there is like lots of water but nothing to drink because of the salinity. So what we did is we have and also you know that it is disaster prone. তো প্রত্যেক বছর কোনো না কোনো ঝড় আসেই সুন্দরবনের ওপর দিয়ে, তো স্যালিনিটি মানে নোনা জল সবসময় ফ্রেশ ওয়াটারে মিশেই যাচ্ছে। আমরা কি করেছি, আমাদের যে ব্যাংকস গুলো আছে মানে ফ্রেশ ওয়াটারের সাথে we have raised the banks so that the saline water do not come into the fresh water. That is one science that we have taken in. Another one is that because of the floods, what happens is the drinking water sources, they go below the water of salinity. তো আমাদের হাই রেজ প্ল্যাটফর্ম তৈরি করা হয়েছে যেখানে জলটা ফ্রেশ ওয়াটারের গ্রাউন্ড ওয়াটারের সাথে মেশে না। So these are the things, these are the changes, Parivartan that has been done ওই এরিয়াগুলোতে। So I try to take up two contrasting places. One is water filled and one is
Thank
water.
you. Thank you so much.